Sorry about that. Didn't even realize that. Sorry about that. Didn't even realize that the time was up there. Sometimes it just has a way of sneaking up on you. But anyways, hey guys, look, I've got three people starting off with, so that's cool. I guess we're back down to two now. As always, I do appreciate any likes and shares you guys can do to help get the word out. And yeah, I'm late technically because of the fact I was just reviewing some stuff in preparation for the show. So um, oh yeah, so now I'm here. Now we're just wait for a few minutes to see who else will wait for a few minutes to see who else comes in. Uh, according to the StreamYard counter, there's only one person in here right now. Let's see. Anyways, as we're just waiting around for some more people to show up. We got two people back. Okay. I think ATC, you might be the only one lurking in here right now. How'd your day go today? I know Nick was covering the impeachment trial. Not that we want to get too much into that. Um, wow, we're back up to three people now. Hello, third person. I'm gonna wait a few minutes while we wait for some more people to show up before I get started. So how are you guys doing today? Guys have a Did you guys have a good day today? Everybody shout! Come on, let's hang out. It's time for the groovy get together. All right, now we isn't good. I sold my first 3D model. Oh, cool, ATC. Good for you, man. Got four people in now. It's Dave Mark. Howdy, hey Dave. How you doing, man? I'm pirating. Laugh out loud. uh, hey Dave, I know you had asked for that link the other night. Do you happen to have? I know you did say something about check. Did you check any of those comics out from Comics Books Plus? Eh, eh, Excuse me a moment. I go off camera for a quick sec. Alrighty, then I'm back. See. Like I said, I skimmed through a bunch of comics looking for um, emetic images, but I did sit down and read some G.I. Jane funny ladies. Huh. Hey, action. Hey, glad to hear you're profiting, action. hmm Yeah, so, anyways, let's see. We're already at the 5 minute mark here. I'm gonna wait just a few more minutes here, past 5 minute mark rather. We're coming up on 6 minutes. We'll wait a few more minutes. Maybe we'll start up around the 10 minute mark before I start getting into it a bit here. Ah, let's see. Oh, now we got 5 people in here. So as I said, we're just waiting on some people. So that's why we're not starting quite yet. Let's see. Laugh out loud. Just buying more stuff for the channel with it. Laugh out loud. Let's see. Hi, Dave. Hi, Mike. Hey, Woody. What would Woody do? Hi, Dilly. What would Woody do back in '62? Driving fancy cars, drinking in the bars, playing all the games, picking up the names. What would Woody do? What would Woody do? Action! Toys! Channel! Action! Toys Channel. All right, so let's see. Now we're back down to four. That sucks. Um. Anyway, so we're just over the 7 minute mark. I was just about ready to go into the Let's see now. Hmm. Ah. Let's see. Oh my gods! When I said I was pirating, I meant I'm using something called YouTube Advanced. It basically gives you features you'd have to buy from YouTube, and guess what? No lag. Uh, I did, in fact, have a pretty fancy pedal car back in '62. Yeah. Hey, Woody. Okay, well, let's see. We're now coming up on 8.5 minutes. I guess I can get kind of at least talk about what's it. So I got 6 stories tonight. Three from the comics realm, two from anime, and then one from I guess a TV show. So basically, what's on tap for tonight? We got a story from in regards to the Image Comics title Philadelphia, where the co-creators talked about the influence their influence from the play from the Hamilton play. Um, Also, I'm going to cover a story on the Batman Beyond comic, and also DC is for a spring break one shot is bringing back Stargirl. Um, let's see. Aside from that, also let's see a couple of anime stories as well, including um, basically who would win in a fight between two great apes, King Kong or Vegeta in ape form, as well as a story from Fairy Tale on how the Grand Magic Games were a major plot point in the series, and then of course an article on the Snoopy Show. So that's what's on tap for tonight, and of course at the end the um the the at the end, of course, this day in each history, of course. So now we're at the 10-minute mark. We got four of us in here, so I think it's about time to get started on. And as always, guys, I do appreciate any likes and shares you guys can put up to help get the algorithm up and also help get some more people in here. So without no further ado, let's get into these stories. So here's the first story of the night. Let's see now. So here's the first story of the night. Philadelphia co-creator reveals Hamilton's influence on Image Comic. As Philadelphia wraps up its second blood-soaked story arc, co-creator Rodney Barnes revealed the hit musical Hamilton's influence on it. And here's of course an image, I guess, from the comic. That does look pretty gory. Acclaimed comic creator and screenwriter Rodney Barnes is not shy to wear his pop culture influences on his storytelling sleeve. But one of the inspirations behind his hit horror comic, Philadelphia, is surprising: the Tony Award winning musical Hamilton. Philadelphia features John Adams and his wife Abigail rising up as vampires, to menace modern day Philadelphia as they seek to reshape America to match their visions for the country. Interesting. According to Barnes, the two characters' major roles were inspired by Adams being something of a running joke in Lin Manuel Miranda's enormously successful musical. Musical. It started with the play Hamilton. I've seen Hamilton a lot, and it struck me every time they made fun of John Adams. John Adams was in the audience. How would John's, John's Adam, I think he meant John Adams, feel about being made fun of a couple hundred years later? As I understand, I don't think he would have been too happy about it. Barnes told CBR, even though he's a founding father, he isn't sort of canonized like the other characters from that period. I won't say he's forgotten. He had his own HBO, in parentheses, miniseries, but he isn't celebrated the same way George Washington, Thomas Jefferson are. With Hamilton focused on how the founding fathers sought to shape and leave their legacy on the United States, Adams largely cast to the side, with Philadelphia's depiction of the character determined to um, achieve in unlife what he felt eluded him while he was a mortal man. Centuries ago, Barnes felt the mix of wounded ego and revolutionary perspective made John Adams the prime candidate to bring back as a vampire for his and Jason Sean Alexander's Image comic series. Image comic series. Um, he felt like a sort of unique character to place there, and finding a human flaw, of course. I don't know if John really felt this way, but being able to explore him thinking, what if I didn't make the mark I intended to? What if I had the opportunity and perspectives to look back because I'm immortal now, to see how America views me, and if I had the opportunity to make America great again, for lack of a better term. Um, Actually, though, the thing is that one of the things I'd always read about Adams, for his time period, might have been considered a liberal. Um, More of a federal government guy. I think John Adams would too. Huh. Let's see. How would I go about doing it? Barnes explained. I wanted someone who had been there at the beginning to be able to speak directly to what was happening right now and be able to give voice to that perspective. John Adams fit. Written by Rodney Barnes and illustrated by Jason Sean Alexander, Philadelphia Volume 2 comes out on March 31st from Image Comics. A television adaptation of the series is currently in development. There you go. There's the first story of the night. Um, hmm. so, as so, what did you guys think of that? So now that we've here, the next story, we'll be right back. Got to go off camera for a quick sec. So, what did you guys think of that Philadelphia comic? Well, we're down to three people now. Oops. Back up to four. Just bouncing back and forth, huh? Do you guys have anything you wanted to say about the anything more you wanted to say about the Philadelphia? Um, let's see. The musical paints Adams as a conniving weasel who lets others take the heat while he quietly waits in the background to do opportunist stuff. Agreed, Dave. Yeah. Well, I don't think, from what I understand, I don't think Adams was all that. I mean, look, Adams and then his son John Quincy Adams both only served one term as president. Of the first six presidents, They're the only ones who served only one term. So um, go figure on that. Um, you know, and I think it was around the time of Adams' presidency where they had like the Alien Sedition Acts going on as well. So, all right. So let's move on to the next story then. This next story, Batman Beyond is still Bruce Wayne's most hopeful ending. Bruce Wayne's future is usually predicted to be grim, but the animated series Batman Beyond and its comic sequels gave him a happier ending. There is no shortage of stories depicting Batman's future, and few of them end well for Bruce Wayne. Um, and I do know this for a fact because I know first two, the Golden Age Batman actually ended up being killed um, in 1978 in their universe. Basically, what happened was he had eventually he actually ended up marrying Selena Kyle, the Catwoman. Um, they would then, of course, they would then give birth and raise Helena Wayne, um, who would become the Huntress. He would then retire the Cape and Cowl on Earth 2 and become police commissioner and was basically ended up being killed by just a normal thug. So yeah. The future presented by the beloved animated series Batman Beyond and the comics that follow um, is an exception. Batman Beyond's Bruce definitely still has his demons, but he also lives a content and maybe even happy life. He forges an intense bond with the new Batman, Terry McGinnis, makes peace with the former members of the Bat family, and his and Terry's heroics inspire a new generation of crime fighters. Batman Beyond's version of Gotham is also still relatively functional, showing that Bruce succeeded in his mission to keep the city safe. See if you guys have anything to say in response to. Well, no, I guess not. Not as of yet, anyways. I guess. The animated series begins by showing Bruce's final mission as Batman set 20 years before the rest of the series. The sequence demonstrates that the effects of aging have made Bruce unable to effectively operate as Batman. He first encounters Terry when the latter stumbles upon Wayne Manor while being chased by members of the Jokers, a Joker inspired street gang. Bruce helps Terry fight off the gang members, but begins having another attack, and Terry helps him back to the house to take medication. Terry winds up accidentally finding entrance to the Batcave, and Bruce kicks him out. But when Terry's father is killed as part of a conspiracy involving the new head of Wayne Enterprises, he turns to Bruce for help. Bruce initially reacts cruelly when Terry steals the high tech new bat suit to track down the killers and almost leaves him to die. but eventually helps him get justice. After Terry shows his potential, Bruce takes him on as an assistant and secretly begins training him as the new Batman. And then there's, of course, there's a scene from Batman Beyond. Okay. The musical paints Adams, okay, as a conniving weasel who lets. Okay, we actually already saw that. Okay. Let's see. Grr may have praised Vance too soon. Still experiencing lag on my end. YouTube hates me forever. Ah, Steve Baggins. Excuse me a moment, guys. I gotta go check something here real quick. It was a neighbor looking for my sister. Just some stuff about stuff around the house here. So, anyways, I love to lose the YouTube ads. They're so obnoxious. Um, Hoptices. Okay. Well, anyways, as we get ready to move on with the story here, Bruce and Terry often disagreed, but they also quickly morphed into a very effective crime fighting team. And Bruce clearly began to see his young successor as a surrogate son. A controversial episode of Justice League Unlimited would later reveal that Terry was, in fact, Bruce's biological son. Bruce and Terry's activities also led Bruce to reconnect with his former sidekicks, despite past frictions. Barbara Gordon is Gotham's new police commissioner and is happily married. She is initially opposed to Terry taking on the role Batman, but eventually comes to respect him and act as his law enforcement contact. Basically, much in the same vein that her father, Commissioner Gordon, had always served as Bruce's police contact. Um, let's see. Bruce and Barbara's relationship in the series is complicated by their brief romantic history, but they still clearly care for each other deeply and support one another. And throughout the Batman mythos, there was always somewhat of a little bit of a hint at a possible romantic involvement between Bruce and Barbara, more in the later years than the earlier years. But um, anyways, in Batman Beyond, Dick Grayson became the mayor of Bloodhaven, um, and he and Bruce were shown mending their relationship despite lingering tension over what happened with Bruce and Barbara. This short, and again, and that was even another big thing. Dick and Barbara being also being possibly romantically involved. This sharply contrasts with other versions of Bruce and Dick's future, which their relationship is often presented as much more antagonistic. In The Dark Knight Strikes Again, Dick was transformed into a superhuman version of the Joker, and killed multiple superheroes before Bruce left him for dead. Likewise, Tim Drake was angry with Bruce for a long time in Batman Beyond, but after Terry saved him from the Joker's brainwashing, Bruce came to visit him at the hospital, and with the implication being that they would reconcile. Um, Before moving on, I gotta go off camera here for a moment. I'll be right back. Okay, so let's see. Every other one is a drum and bugle core soundtrack. I'm gonna keep giving this Vanced a chance. It's got a built-in ad blocker in background play. But we know the truth about Terry's dad now. Yep, we do. Okay, so anyways, as we continue to move on here. And of course, one other thing too, the guy who voiced Warren McGinnis, Terry's dad in the series before, finding out that Bruce is his actual biological father. Um, Warren McGinnis was actually voiced by Michael Gross of Family Ties fame, Stephen Keaton Family Ties. So, um, anyways, as we continue on with the article here, in addition to bringing peace to the old Bat family, Batman Beyond also started a new one. In the television series, Terry's friend Max Gibson helps him with research and provides mechanical advice, with Terry once jokingly referring to her as his Alfred. In the comics, Terry's brother Matt served as Robin for a time, and Dick Grayson's daughter, Elena, began operating as Batwoman after she was introduced in Dan Jurgens' Cully, Cully Hammer and Marco Satucci's Batman Beyond number 25 in 2018. A young woman named Nisa um, also served as a new Batgirl. Now, in the comics, there was a Nisa in the bat involved in the Batman mythos. It was Nisa Al Ghul. She was said to be like a half sister of Talia. I think the daughter of Ra's al Ghul from another woman. So, and here's I guess a panel from the comic. True enough, Elena, and for that we thank you. But that leaves us with the question: which one of you wears the suit tomorrow? Uh, Very interesting. Because of the plethora of new heroes, the Gotham of Batman Beyond much more is much more functional than those in other timelines. Neo Gotham, as it is called, has its share of problems and villains, but it is still a civilized place overall, and a far cry from the dystopian and post-apocalyptic nightmares shown in stories like Batman in Bethlehem and Last Night on Earth. This improved state of the city has an uplifting effect on Bruce's mental state, um, which in turn leads him to do a better job protecting it. The inverse of this is depicted in many other stories in which The decaying state of Gotham leads Bruce down dark paths in turn, making the city worse. Kevin Conroy, who famously voiced Batman Beyond's Bruce, basically Kevin Conroy was the voice of Batman throughout much of the DCAU, mind you, um, appears in one such story. The live action Bruce he played in the television adaptation of Crisis on Infinite Earths had transformed into a ruthless tyrant after years of tragedy. Contrasting this and similar stories, Batman Beyond illustrates why the latter is so special. Batman Beyond managed to find a balance between continuing to draw on film noir and similar dark influences, while also presenting a hopeful version of Gotham and Bruce Wayne's later life, which ultimately makes it a hopeful possible future for Bruce Wayne and everyone around him. Yeah, and I know there are other aspects in Batman Beyond too, where, like, for example, they decided to try to bring Talia back as a potential love interest for Bruce later in life, only for it to be discovered that it was actually Ra's al Ghul. But anyways, I'm gonna go off camera here for a quick moment. I'll be right back. All right, so let's kind of see what you guys have been saying since I last. Um, okay, I think we already saw that one. Saw that one. Spoilers. Next, Mike is going to tell us that Rosebud is a sled. Uh, oh yeah, Batgoat said he'd be late. Yeah, well, yeah, I know. Wednesday nights he has his trivia night, so basically, I know on Wednesdays he's usually going to be a little late. Um, I guess do did Leto, but I think you mean so did Leto. Um, Rach turned himself into a TikTok trap to spite Bruce. Yeah, I guess if that's what you want to call it, there, Dave. But actually, I think you misspelled race. I think it's actually pronounced R-A apostrophe S. That's how it's spelled. It's pronounced race, but it's spelled R-A apostrophe S. So, anyways, let's kind of move on to the next story. The last of the comic stories, as soon as I can get to it here. Let's see. This one. Stargirl returns to DC Comics with a spring break one shot. Now, just in case you guys don't know who Stargirl is, Stargirl Courtney Whitmore, she was basically the stepdaughter of Pat Dugan, the original Stripe of Stars and Stripe, who who originally actually debuted back in the 40s, and like basically the comic title that I had talked about last night, Star Spangled Comics. Um, they were known as the team of Stars and Stripes. It was actually one of the few reversals of situation where you had the kid superhero and the adult sidekick instead of the adult hero and the kid sidekick. Um, but the main now star the Star Spangled Kid was just basically a normal kid with now well not quite normal he just didn't have any like superpowers as it were, but he was a very gifted individual, and he basically came from money as Pat Dugan, who would end up being Stripe, or Stripesy. Stripesy was his original name. Um, was basically his chauffeur. In the comics back in the 40s, they were also a part of the superhero team known as Seven Soldier Victory, which included the Crimson Avenger and Wing, um, Green Arrow and Speedy, Vigilante, Shining Knight, and then of course the unofficial eighth member was Vigilante sidekick, Stuff the Chinatown Kid. Excuse me a moment, I gotta go up camera one more time here. All right. Well, anyways, now Stargirl, of course, she and now their characters changed post crisis, in which, as I said, Courtney was Pat Dugan's stepdaughter. He went from just being a normal hero with who wore a red and white striped shirt to going around in basically basically an uh, armored suit, a metal suit basically with weapons and all that. And then she was actually bestowed upon her the cosmic rod of Starman Ted Knight and the Knight family. So I believe actually she was given the more advanced one that was used later by, I believe it was David Knight, I believe, one of Ted's younger son. Riz. Can't get out. If you can't get Qui Gon Jinn, right, I'll call him Rice Al Ghul. Okay. Laugh out loud. Anyways. But anyways, so now giving you the kind of some background information here. Let's go ahead and take a look at this article. Stargirl returns to DC Comics with a spring break one shot. DC Comics Stargirl spring break one shot from Jeff Jones and Todd Knock um, will feature Stargirl teaming up with the Seven Soldiers of Victory. And of course, she and Stripesy have basically at least her her predecessor, Sylvester Pemberton, with Stripe there, had been a part of the Seven Soldiers of Victory. DC Comics has unveiled the cover and synopsis for its upcoming Stargirl Spring Break special, one shot. The 48-page story will see Courtney Whitmore, better known as Stargirl, teaming up with the Seven Soldiers of Victory. Their mission features a quest to unveil the mysterious eighth member of the soldiers, um, which is hinted to affect Courtney's future as Stargirl. Courtney's stepfather, Pat, was a member of the soldiers during the time as a Star Spangled Kid alongside. Um, okay, so this is probably a post crisis, but let's see. Pat was a member during his time as the Star Spangled Kid alongside Sylvester Pemberton, who wielded Courtney's cosmic rod and cosmic converter belt as Starman. So this is a slight differentiation. This is probably the post crisis version they were talking about there. And then here is, of course, you got looks like Green Arrow there, right? Um, Speedy, Stripe right there, Vigilante. The other members of the Seven Soldiers of Victory shown on the cover include the Gunslinger Vigilante and the Shining Knight, alongside Crimson Avenger. Rounding out the team is DC's resident archer Green Arrow and his half sister Emiko, better known as Red Arrow. Again, this is all probably based on post crisis stuff. Created by Jones and Lee Mulder, Courtney Whitmore first appeared in Stars and STRIP miniseries. She has been a member of the Justice Society of America and currently stars in her own television series, with a second season set to debut on the CW. Jones and Knock will also write a Stargirl story for the Infinite Frontier one shot debuting in March, which will set the future of DC Comics. Written by Jeff Jones and illustrated by Todd Knock, Stargirl Spring Break Special #1 goes on sale on May 4th from DC. Oh, let's see. Let's see. Alrighty then. Okay, and we'd already seen all this. So that's at least. So now we're up to 5 people. That's good. As always, guys, I always appreciate any likes and shares you guys can give me to help get the algorithm up. Um, anyways, we will now get ready to move on to the next story. Already at 47 minutes here. So, yep, this will be the next story to check out. Oh, now we're back down to 3 people. Oh boy, now we're back up to 4, or even up to 5 at one point. Okay, now let's see. Oh, Dave finally said something here. Let's see what he said. I don't know anything about Stargirl, but the CW live action show may have turned a lot of people away from the character. Yes. Again, as with a lot of DC history, there's quite a bit of it because remember, DC Comic kind of started back in 1935. I don't know if you've caught too many of many of the Friday episodes, Dave, as we've been looking through the history of comics, but yeah, Stargirl was more of I think I don't even know if if Courtney was even brought about until post crisis on Infinite Earths. So in the comics, so which happened back in 1985, 86. So anyway, so let's move on here to the next story here. King Kong versus Ozaru Vegeta. Which great ape reigns supreme? Kong might be the king of the apes, but could he defeat Dragon Ball Z's Prince Vegeta in his Ozaru form? Kind of the battle of the two great apes, huh? Whether or not King Kong is the MonsterVerse's strongest kaiju, that question should be answered in the upcoming Godzilla vs. Kong. It seems safe to say he's at least the MonsterVerse's strongest ape. But who better to usurp a king than a prince? Specifically, Dragon Ball Z's Prince of All Saiyans, Vegeta. When Vegeta first arrived on Earth during the Saiyan saga, um, he could transform into an unstoppable Ozaru, or Great Ape, form in a battle with Vegeta as he was during the Saiyan saga pre-tail cutting. Could Kong emerge the victor, or would Skull Island bow to a new prince? I'll be right back. I got to go off camera here for a moment. Get cut up. Okay, so let's see. Ozaru Vegeta shoots mouth lasers. This is not a contest, it's a beating. Well, let's see what they have to say in the article here, Dave. Kong strength versus Ozaru Vegeta strength. By comparing Vegeta's raw power to Kong's, it's clear Vegeta's strength, even at this early point in Dragon Ball Z, is superior to Kong's circa Kong Skull Island. It's harder to make an accurate comparison yet with Kong's strength in Godzilla vs. Kong, as Kong's strength has increased over the decades. But he's got a lot of catching up to do um, to match Ozaru Vegeta. Kong can break chains and rip trees from the ground, but Ozaru Vegeta manages to smash rock pillars with his fist without difficulty. And these pillars are far denser than just trees. Vegeta is able to overpower Goku's strength in his bare fist, which is impressive considering Goku's raw might following his training with King Kai. Kong may be strong and growing stronger, but can he break mountains with one punch as Ozaru Vegeta can? Um, let's see. Where Kong and Vegeta appear roughly equal is in their incredible feats of speed. While Ozaru Vegeta lacks the blinding speed that Vegeta would become known for in the years to follow, He's still a surprisingly limber gorilla. However, he's never too fast for the naked eye to see, indicating his raw speed is comparable to Kong's. This means that Vegeta won't be too fast for Kong to hit, even if Vegeta hits land far harder. As I've seen, as far. Oh, Solid's here. Yeah, we saw that. Let's see. Here I am. Hey, Solid. Welcome to the stream. We already went through all the comics that we're going through some anime stories right now. Who would win in a fight between the um, grade eight form of Vegeta or King Kong? Howdy, Solid. So Vegeta's raw energy versus Kong's ingenuity. Let's see. Vegeta retains his intelligence when transforming into an Ozaru, but even with all his wit, he might lack Kong's intuitive fighting style. Vegeta fights primarily with his bare fist and energy attacks, as David mentioned earlier, whereas Kong incorporates weapons into his fighting style. The question is, which is more effective in battle? Kong's weapons or Vegeta's power? Let's see. In the Godzilla vs. Kong trailer, Kong manages to negate Godzilla's raw atomic power by using his tools. Um, and when he lacks tools, he can still evade Godzilla's attacks. If Kong can stand up against Godzilla's atomic breath, surely he could figure out a way to evade or weave around Ozaru's Vegeta's key attack. Well, there you go, Dave. Look at that. Look at that. They're talking about how Kong might be able to evade um, Vegeta's mouth laser. Okay. However, Kong primarily uses crude weaponry like tree spears or custom axes, and Vegeta could likely withstand almost any attacks from such tools. Um, there is one major exception. If Kong strikes um, Vegeta's tail, then that's the end of his Ozaru form. Yes, basically, if obviously, as we all know, if Kong were to cut off Vegeta's tail, then there goes his grade eight form. Bye bye. But and he might even weaken Vegeta even if he just grabs his tail too, as you've seen in a number of times when a Saiyan's tail is grabbed, they pretty much almost come instantly weak. However, Vegeta can most likely resist, counter, or even destroy any weapon and use weapons used against him with his own energy blast, unless Kong targets Vegeta's tail. Um, Vegeta's raw power is probably enough to overpower any weapon Kong crafts. Kong's many weaknesses versus Vegeta's one big weakness. See if you guys are saying anything about this. see. Ah, Leto's here. Let's see. Looks like we had a. Let's see. Let's see. Right. If anything, the Ozaru is similar to the mandrill, which which though the they have very small tails, are still monkeys. Vegeta can just Gallic gun the entire planet. Get fed, Kong. Hey, Mike, Toys, Dave, Woody. Hey, Leto. Welcome to the stream, man. Um, they're reaching with the evasion. Anything Kong can do, Vegeta can do, plus lasers. Hey, solid. Well, I guess you'd have to argue which of the two is more agile there, Dave. Hey, Leto. That might be the thing that they're arguing. Hello, Leto Enchanted from Woody. Hey, Leto. Everybody's saying hi to Leto right now as he just came in. No! Vegeta and Nappa trained their tail weakness out. I'm getting ready to head to work, so sorry if I don't talk much. And that's all right. We know the story. Hey, Leto. Um, Dave's right though. Laugh out loud. Well, yeah. He okay. So maybe Kong doesn't grab the tail and make him weak, but if Kong can still, even if he grabs the tail and it doesn't make Vegeta instantly weak, if he grabs the tail and then takes an axe and chops the tail off, you know, um, it also maintains his intelligence in monkey form, unlike other Saiyans, which is true. Yeah. Kong has more weaknesses than Ozaru Vegeta. In Kong Skull Island, Samuel L. Jackson's Preston Packard was able to injure Kong with explosives and Vietnam War era weaponry. Um, while Kong is unaffected by bullets, flames, burn his skin enough to cause him injury, and Vegeta's energy blast are far more powerful than that. Which likely, he could possibly incinerate Kong with a with one of those energy beams. At this stage, Vegeta's key attacks are either comparable or stronger than Monster vs. Godzilla Atomic Breath. Um, though it is though it is hard to determine which is stronger. By comparison, Vegeta can take far more punishment while his eye is injured by an energy blast in his Ozaru form. Um, the only things that can demonstrably injure his body are high level energy blasts, such as the Destructo Disc, a la Krillin. Um, on top of that, Vegeta is armed with Saiyan armor, a lightweight uniform that can ward off almost any attack. Um, Even under the extreme force of Goku's Spirit Bomb, the armor mostly maintained its integrity. It was seriously damaged, but still took more punishment than Kong is capable of dealing with. That might. What if it were Vegeta in Ozaru form? Or what if it were Vegito in Ozaru? Yeah, I think that would even be worse for King Kong. I think if it was Vegito, whether you want to call him Vegito um or Gokvi or whatever. Um, I disagree with the writer vehemently. At Mike, well, what if it were Ozaru Ozaru form baby Vegeta? Well, baby Vegeta might actually be weaker than Ozaru because babies tend to be weaker than the full grown version. That's just cruel, Solid. Here's the thing, though. Why would Kong chop Vegeta's tail? He doesn't know it will do anything. Um, saying Kong will cut the tail off is very presumptuous. Well, but they did earlier in the article. They talked about um, Kong's ingenuity, his intuitive fighting style. So yeah, while as a wild beast, chances are he's not necessarily thinking of what attacks he might just be reacting, or but everything for him is just so instinctive. Maybe he does on an instinctive level pick up that his tail is a source of his power. That's a possibility. Um, how about Golden Osaru Goku? Uh, yeah, that he would probably annihilate Kong. Even he did. Hey, back goat here, back goat. Da 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 da. Back goat. Da 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 da. Back goat. Da 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 da. Back goat. Da 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 da. Back goat. Back goat. Back goat. Solid. Solid as a rock. That's why we come in. Anyway, Kong is screwed in all these scenarios because he's up against um, planet destroying and um I would agree with you mostly, Dave, but I think he might have a chance with baby Vegito or baby Vegeta again because babies tend to be weaker than their full grown adult forms. So hey, Batgoat. No, baby Vegeta was when Vegeta was possessed by baby and GT. Um, okay, I can see your point there then. Hey, Dave, Solid Toys. Baby Vegeta. Hey, Batgoat. No love for Leto. Hey, Leto. Let's see. Also, a Vegeta Basaro keeps his tail like a brick, and they're taught from childhood ways to defend um, their tail at times, at all times. Hey, back up. Let's see. I'll play devil's advocate. Saiyans tend to protect their tails. If Kong noticed this, he'd instinctively recognize what must be a weakness. Yeah, which is a point I kind of made, which is a point I made earlier too, Dave. That again, instinctively, he might just figure it out. Anyway, I got to go off camera here for a sec. I'll be right back. Okay, so let's see what else here. Trivia was a mess. Embarrassing. We stunk up the joint. Uh, Belt, laugh out loud. Yeah, so anyways, as we continue on with the article here, let's see. Okay. Again, the huge factor that changes the entire dynamic between Vegeta and Kong is Vegeta's tail. Saiyan's tails are extra vulnerable. In Dragon Ball Z, this weakness ultimately allows Ozaru Vegeta to be defeated by Yajirobe, um, one of the weakest main characters in the series. Vegeta is taken off guard by Yajirobe's katana, a slash which brings the Saiyan abruptly down to earth. So yeah, so that's right, because Yajirobe, I think, did actually accidentally did cut off a portion of Vegeta's tail. So if not the whole tail. All right, we already saw that. Saw that. I think Piccolo forgot how to become giant size since he didn't do so to subdue Ozaru Gohan, or maybe he just felt he didn't need to do it. But still, like Solid said earlier, Vegeta can literally blow up the planet. Yes, and if Kong is not able to escape, Vegeta's mouth beam, as it were, it's likely that he would be incinerated by it. If he can't figure out a way to dodge it. And then, as they said there, Kong's it comes back to how much agility Kong has too. Solid, but blowing up the moon was cooler. Okay. Anyways, and we're up to 7 people now, so that's cool. As always, guys, I do appreciate any and all likes. It helps get the algorithm up and get some more people in here. Um, so as we continue on here with the article, Ozaru Vegeta versus King Kong, who is the ultimate winner? At a glance, Ozaru Vegeta would appear to have the edge over King Kong in almost every regard. He's stronger and capable of far more destructive power. And Kong's clever usage of weapons ultimately can't offer him competition against Vegeta's intense ki attacks, as Dave and Solid had noted on several occasions there throughout the conversation. Despite this, Kong would most likely win this battle. Let's see what this guy's reason for this is. Likely win this battle because he would have the sense to figure out Vegeta's great weakness, his tail, and cut it off. At the very least, he could grab hold of it and throw Vegeta by it. Either way, the tail gives Kong a huge advantage, one made all the easier to use given how Vegeta tends to fight at close range. Which, again, his reasoning's not is not bad there. Again, um, taking into account um, Kong's instinctive fighting style, his intuitive fighting nature, and just exactly how his agility would compare to Vegeta's agility. in that regard in that fight. Given this, it seems likely that Kong would would defend his King of the Apes title um, from his princely challenger. Once Kong uncovers Vegeta's weakness and gets in range of it, Vegeta would easily be beaten. While Vegeta post Saiyan Saga power ups would destroy Kong, at this stage in Vegeta's life, Kong would beat him. Um, though it would still be an intense fight. Let's see what you guys say about that, because I know I'm pretty sure that there's gonna be quite a bit of disagreement, probably coming from Solid and Dave. Um, okay, well, you guys are let's see. Can't Monkey Vegeta move fast? And the eye can see. Actually, according to the article here, no. According to this guy's analysis, Vegeta he's fast, but not fast enough for the naked eye not to be seen. Hey, Mark, Master Roshi blew up the moon long before Piccolo. Um, yep, even as giants, they move too fast for the camera. For the camera, but not for the naked eye, apparently, according. Um, who is Vegeta? I'm out loud. How many moons does the Earth have? Kami restored the moon when he removed Son Goku's tail. Um, also, guys, let's take one other thing into consideration too here. And I know Dave and Solid made this point about the fact that Vegeta has his key attacks and could just simply blast and incinerate Kong, but for such a strong enemy, I don't think Vegeta would just do that. Remember, Vegeta's a Saiyan Prince. He has a lot of pride in that being a Saiyan Prince. I think there's that part of Vegeta. He wouldn't go right to the he wouldn't go right to the key attack. He wouldn't try to blast him right away. He would try to face him off fairly in a hand to hand because he's a Saiyan Prince. Okay. So, and as we also all know, he maintains his human intelligence in grade 8 form. So, that's some BS. Yeah. The writer was paid uh, now I hope Godzilla literally bites Kong's head off to spite this mensch. Reject monkey, embrace radioactive lizard. I mean, I don't think the guy's analysis is too far off there. Again, I agree that overall, I think Vegeta would. I don't agree with the author. I agree with you guys that Vegeta would most likely win in a fight due to the fact, you know, if he was able to, if let's say in close combat, he was able to get off the key attack, the energy attack, he would probably incinerate King Kong. So, let's see. Let's see. No, we saw that. Saw that. Anonymity. I don't know. I haven't seen him in here yet. Anyway, I'll be right back, guys. We know he meant you, Solid. Oh, did I accidentally say anonymity? Uh, uh. A point giant monkey, Vegeta, is wearing his Saiyan armor. Um, the only thing to ever cut it was a katana. Kong's use of bludgeon weapons um, won't have much an effect on it. Well, possibly, but Kong could be strong enough to just simply chop it like a karate chop. You know, it's possible, not necessarily probable, but it is possible. Even Kong to Vegeta, return to Monkey. So, anyways, we're coming up on an hour and a half now, so I must have spent quite a bit of time on that article. So, yeah, let's get ready for the next article then. Is this one? Um, so here's the next article I'll read. Fairy Tale: How the Grand Magic Games Became a Crucial Turning Point to the Guild. In Fairy Tale's Grand Magic Game Natsu tournament, Natsu and the others proved their worth, gaining some key allies along the way. Fairy Tale story arcs pit its heroes against a wide variety of mighty villains, starting with Leon Vastia and his allies on Galuma Island. By the time Natsu and his allies survived their ordeal against Grimoire Heart on Tenron Island, they thought they had faced their final test. Then the Grand Magic Games tournament began. Many battle many battle shonen have a tournament arc, but the Fairy Tale anime made the most of it. The Grand Magic Games story arc is one of Fairy Tale's longest and most exciting, and more importantly, this was when Natsu, Gagio, Lucy, and the others truly proved themselves allowing the disgraced Fairy Tale Guild to be reborn. Now, the Grand Magic Games is when the ones who are on Tenro Island come back after being frozen in time for like 7 years in that arc. So there's Lucy and Urza. Lucy, of course, in the of course, Fairy Tale was dubbed by Funimation. Lucy was voiced by Karami Lee. Urza was voiced by Colin Clinkenbeard. Um, I won't be saying anything here. I don't know Fairy Tale. That's all right. I mean, depending upon your level of knowledge, sometimes we have lively conversations like we just did in regards to King Kong versus Vegeta, and other times, there's, it's just putting stuff out there to, you may not know a lot about this. Maybe it might spark your interest to go watch it. You never know. I've watched a Fairy Tale before. It was actually a pretty good anime. So recent events had not been kind to the Fairy Tale Guild. While the guild gained some new members after clashing with the defunct Phantom Lord Guild, the S rank mage exams on Tenro Island afterward went horribly wrong. The insidious Grimoire Heart Guild arrived in force, led by its dark guildmaster Hades, the former second master of Fairy Tale. It took everything Natsu and the others had to triumph, only narrowly missing defeat thanks to Guildarts Clive timely intervention. And after that, the appearance of Acnologia, um, who put everyone on Tenro Island into stasis for 7 whole years. Without its best wizards on hand, Fairy Tale fell into hard times, suffering from poverty, a poor reputation, and a lack of solid leadership. The Sabertooth Guild now dominated, and they, with guilds like Twilight Ogre, regularly tormented Fairy Tale, exacting petty revenge for past embarrassments. But an opportunity to bounce back was right around the corner. The upcoming Grand Magic Games tournament, a massive multi guild tournament held every year in Crocus, Fiori's capital. Sabretooth was a major force in every tournament up to that point, but Fairy Tale was back in business, and its very best would prove their guild's worth tournament style. And I'll be right back. Let's see. At Dave Mark from Solid Redfield. My internet dropped for a moment. Who was referring to me? Okay, so Fairy Tale was starting from zero, and its members suffered some early defeats during the multi-stage tournament. Despite a strong start in the qualification rounds, largely thanks to Urza and Elfman Strauss, Sabretooth was still the top dog, and it shot right to the top of the leaderboard, with Fairy Tale sitting at 0 points. Then someone from Fairy Tale's ancient history returned, Mavis Vermilion. the first guild master of Fairy Tale. Decades ago, Mavis practically died due to her difficult relationship with Xerath, but had since gathered enough magic to appear in ghostly form. While her guild could hardly believe their eyes, Mavis put her tactical mind to use coordinating Fairy Tale's teams during a free-for-all battle in Crocus Streets. Without her, the guild might have lost to Sabretooth once and for all. But with the help of Fairy Tale's first member, Urza, Natsu, first member, Urza, Natsu, and others maneuvered themselves into the best possible positions to avoid the most dangerous foes until the time was right to strike. Urza, for her part, faced powerful rivals in the form of Minerva Orland and Kagura Mikazuchi. And even after this battle was concluded, Mavis would return again to aid her beloved guild with everything at her disposal. And there are two of Sabretooth's dragon slayers, as it were, much like Natsu. Let's see. On behalf of the Fairy Tale Guild, we wish to welcome you to Munchkin Land. That's all. You and I were arguing hard for Vegeta, and Mike accidentally said anonymity when he meant you. That's all. I didn't even realize that. But, oh, bad news! Disney fired Gina Carano, trash company. Yeah, I think I saw a headline on that. Rami Lee is hot. Too bad she's an. I don't think so, son. I don't. Based on what I had seen, she's not. She's not. I mean, what? Because I actually looked her up. I looked up a lot of her posts last year. She didn't come. I didn't see anything that would indicate she was an SJW. So I don't see. I don't know where you got that from. Um, but I don't think Karami's really an SJW. Hi there. Hey, Minecraft boy, welcome to the stream. Um, at this point, they're banking on viewers that hate them back goat. They want people to love to hate them. They're playing the live in people's head, live in people's head rent free game. She once said fan service makes her eyes roll. That's your argument for her being an SJW. That her for her fan service makes her eyes roll. For a lot of women, fan service would probably be considered very offensive, Solid, because it goes back to the whole idea of women being viewed as sex objects. Okay? Um, but that's not really being an SJW, that's just being a woman. Okay? Just because she said it makes her eyes roll doesn't make her a social justice warrior. It's not like she's going on a crusade, saying that, oh, we should cancel fan service, or cancel people who look at fan service, or cancel people who engage in fan service. Okay, your whole argument here is she said that fan service makes her eyes roll. Okay, that's not being an SJW. That's just simply being a woman. And I think, when you look at what fan service is, for the most part, fan service is directed at a lot of male audiences. They use that tactic of having these cute girls, in some very, um, provocative situations that's intended to draw guys in. Okay, you know, as a woman, she probably is likely offended by that, because that's the whole argument um of women being objectified. But that doesn't necessarily make her an SJW. I hope COVID ends. Men are viewed as sex. Well, that's true too. But again, but predominantly, and yeah, you do have some situations like or on High School Host Club where it's the reverse. But for the most part, you do have more situations where women are the object of fan service. You know, fan service is part and parcel with anime. Seems like a bad medium for a voice actress to get into if you don't like it. Well, not all anime has fan service. Yeah, fan service is particularly a part of a lot of slice of life animes. Okay, but you know, but Karami, I mean, you should know this, Solid. Karami is a lead in a number of shows. Look at not just with Funimation either, but also out here in LA. Okay, she's Asuna in Sword Art Online, right? She's Sawada Uchiha in Boruto. Okay, um, let's see. I know she was Road Camelot in D Gray Man. So anime has a long history of that stuff. Why work in the industry if you can't deal with? Well, maybe she can. You know, first off, again, fan service is only one part of it, and granted, it is quite heavy in the slice of life genre. But there are a lot of animes, particularly ones that she's involved with, where there isn't as much fan service. You know. Yep. There is there is the anime free after all. Yeah. Another one where you do see male fan service because you're talking about a swim team there. Yeah. Kenny just said. Kenny just said. Have you seen these dudes? Their shirts ripped off. Yeah, I have. Translate this. I have no idea there, Minecrafter boy. Hey, Minecrafter. Falling asleep, peaceful. Hey, Bat, go get some rest, man. Hopefully I'll see you tomorrow night. And then I know she is yeah, Urahara and Railgun. Yeah, she's yeah, you know. Um, but again, just because she said that doesn't make her an SJW. Okay, and I don't believe she's an S because I think even Vic still considers her a friend, and she's been friendly towards Vic. Okay, I think even to this point she's still been relatively friendly towards Vic. So, um, hello there. Good night, Bat Goat. Hey, Mark. Real has been in numerous fan service heavy anime themes. Yep. Um, whoever we're talking about sounds like the next Jamie Markey. No, I don't think Karami's. I don't think Karami. First off, Karami is splitting her time between Dallas and LA at this point. So I don't think she's going to fall into the same trap as Jamie Markey because she's doing a lot of work out here in LA as well. So, um, hey, just got home. I'll be listening in and grabbing about. Hey, anonymity, 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 anonymity from Dave. Let's see. That Minecraft boy, is that Russian? 140. Mongolian. Evening, gentlemen. Evening, Anon. Hey, Minecrafter and Anon. Anyways, and we are getting to we're already at an hour and 42. I got to get through this article. Russia doesn't have spell Y. So let me continue with this article here. Dragon Slayers Natsu and Gajio, despite being intense rivals, united in the face of Sabretooth's own Dragon Slayer duo, Sting Eucliffe and Rogue Cheney. Natsu and Gajio, despite their antipathy towards one another, learned to fight as a team against Sabretooth's best, and halfway through, Gajio trusted Natsu to handle Rogue and Sting all on his own. Sure enough, Natsu triumphed thanks to his guildmate's faith in him, and Fairy Tale proved all Fiore all Fiore that it was home to the continent's finest dragon slayers. Laxus Dryer, meanwhile, attended to family matters. He had only recently begun mending his relationship with his grandfather Makarov, and now he faced his father Ivan Dryer, master of the sinister Raventail Guild. Despite Ivan's psychological warfare and cunning magical illusions, Laxus prevailed, proving that that fairy tale um, way of trust and friendship would always overcome deception and manipulation. Laxus had become a true fairy tale hero at last, after inciting the guild's civil war and getting exiled for his misdeeds. From this point on, Laxus would be a proper fairy tale wizard and never again turn on his guildmates. Lucy had a moment of glory too, reinventing herself as a celestial wizard, summoning multiple spirits from Taurus to Gemini and cancer with ease during her duel against Flair Corona, and even launching the Yora no Mitra spell. If it weren't for Raventail's cheating, Lucy would have won. Um, she came a long way, and in future battles, um, she would prove it again. So there you go. There's that. Um, there's that article. We'll have one more. Let me see what you guys have been saying since I last checked on. It looks like we have quite a few things here. Okay, so let's see. Hello there. The former WWE star turned actor shared a post on Instagram on Tuesday that compared today's politics to Nazi Germany in the 1930s, and that's why Gina Carano got fired. The former WWE star. Well, I didn't know that Gina Carano was actually in the WWE, but um, hey, hey, can't be calling Democrats Nazi now, can we? Well, actually, technically, from an ideological standpoint, they're actually the true Nazis. So, um, even if it is true, D, they fired Gina. I saw the inauguration. I'm not blind. Who hates China? And now they're having a show trial for their former leader, blocking the enemies from using the media. I am not a fan of the Communist Party, but I don't hate China. Giving more powers to the singular leader. The ridiculous impeachment trials. Yeah, actually, not that I want to get too deep into that, but I did see an article today that I don't think the as they call them, the house managers are really making their case. It does. I think Trump is going to get acquitted here. He's not going to get convicted because I you know a number of Republican senators basically came out and said that they're not changing their mind. So it's going to be probably like a 55-45, 56-44, which would still fall far short of the 2/3 they need to convict. I hate the CCP. Hong Kong is cool though. It was funny at the end of Grandpa Leahy, the judge, didn't understand what was going on. Um, Interesting because Leahy is one of five senators who was in his 80s, and Dianne Feinstein's the oldest at 87. She's a few months older than Chuck Grassley of Iowa. Those two are 87. Richard Shelby of Alabama, who's up for re-election in 2022, is 86, as well as Jim Inhofe, who was one of the ones who commented that he didn't see them really making their case. But anyway, so moving on there. Judge is also a witness and a juror, and we're supposed to believe this isn't a show trial. Well, constitutional. This whole thing is not constitutional, Woody, because again, it's the Supreme Court judge who is supposed one Supreme Court judge is supposed to be the one presiding over it. Also, let's see. Also, um, Trump is no longer president. You can't impeach a private citizen. Even the Swalwell, Raskin, and Castro need to get smacked in their mouths. I feel bad for the Chinese. Um, 1 plus 1 equals apple. Okay. Woo boy, we are getting political now. Yeah, it's probably, as I said, I'd prefer not to, guys. First dragon is was ours. Um, then China or steal that. 1 plus 1 apple. If you're confused, you are well. Who likes Buzz? Views at Minecraft. We say 2 plus 2 equals 5 in America. It's a quote from George Orwell. Yeah, only the brainwashed see it and agree. So, anyways, um, do you have one more story to go through here? Let me get to that. Here we go. This is the one. This is the last story of the night here. Kind of a lighter story here. Um, let's see. So, in their move, or okay, Zaya 1 plus 1. Then he says apple. 1 plus 1 equals apple. I found it. Okay, so here's the last main story of the night. The Snoopy Show, why we still have a soft spot for Peanuts. The Peanuts is one of the world's most iconic cartoons. The Snoopy Show is a new way to remind viewers why the property is still so special. Charles M. Schultz, Charles M. Schultz Peanuts is one of the most heartwarming cartoons to ever be released. Not only does it teach great lessons for kids, but it also speaks to the adults with which it that watch it with them. Now, in keeping with that trend of bringing back classic properties, a new series has been released on Apple TV Plus called The Snoopy Show. The show brings back the Peanuts kids and Snoopy in all of their glory, in all of their glory, with brand new animation and stories that focus on the life of Charlie Brown through the imaginative eyes of his dog. Since its premiere, the show has been enjoyed by many new and old fans and reminds viewers why so many have a soft spot for these characters and stories. And there's Charlie Brown and Snoopy right there. Look at that, Snoopy as a puppy. Look at that. Part of the reason that the series has done so well for so long is the fact that it doesn't sugarcoat life, as seen when the older specials would give examples of some of the harshest realities of the world. It also wasn't afraid to show how not everybody is as nice as Linus or Charlie Brown. But no matter how mean the kids are, they always came together at the end in that sense. Peanuts has always had a knack for showing just how fleeting some of the problems childhood can be. Let's see. Yep. Oh no, they're going to turn Peanuts woke. I hope not, but you never know. Peanuts owes its timelessness in part to how well the series shares its life lessons. Charlie is typically the main focal point of these lessons, but his stoicism and introspective thoughts on the world make him seem a lot older than he is. Um, Not only does that make him relatable, but it also makes him timeless. A great example of Charlie teaching viewers a great lesson is in A Charlie Brown Christmas, where he's criticized for lack of Christmas spirit after he finds it in a skinny Christmas tree that just needs a little love. He is made fun of for his choice, but the kids eventually come together to remind viewers that Christmas is really about togetherness. Let's see. I'd hate to see Lucy become an actual psychiatrist. She was already a terrible person. Yeah, always, basically setting the ball up for Charlie to kick, only to swipe it away as he comes over, and then he ends up like falling on his butt and having like all his clothes come off from having to trying to kick the ball. So, anyways, back to the article here. While copycats have come and gone over the years, Peanut stands above because it manages to engage the viewers' minds and have them think about the much larger questions of the world. Whether it's about ethics or human nature, Snoopy and the Peanuts gang make sure the viewers have a great time thinking about these big ideas. One of the most important ideals that Peanuts teaches and makes it so unique is the idea of what's important. Every special has Charlie wondering what the most important thing in life are. Linus, excuse me, guys, I gotta go off camera for a quick sec here. Be right back. Wow, it looks like we might end up going over 2 hours again tonight, guys. Um, anyways, um, one of the most important ideals that Peanuts teaches and makes it so unique is the idea of what's important. Every special has Charlie wondering what the most important thing in life is. Linus usually tries to hit him over the head with the answer, but it's still up to Charlie to reach the conclusion on his own. in the end, what's important is whatever is in front of the viewer. Look at that. Good grief. Schultz's creations are so famous, their inspirations can be seen in various other properties. With the premiere of the Snoopy Show, a new era of Peanuts may be on its way. The franchise has a soft spot in the hearts of millions, not only because it brings back the fun and thoughtfulness of the world, but also because it reminds viewers of how much fun it is to be a kid. Now, a new generation can learn to stop and appreciate the world around them before. Um, the Snoopy Show stars Ethan Pugiotto, Terry McGurran, Rob Tinkler, Wyatt White, Isabella Leo, Hattie Cragton, and Holly Gorski and Jonathan Philip Martin. The series is now available to stream on Apple TV Plus. And there we go. So that's the end of all the main stories. That's the end of all the main stories for tonight. See what you guys have been saying since I last checked. I prefer a tiny tree. I'm drinking milk tea. Okay, guys, have you wear a mask? No, I don't. I don't wear a mask. I don't have COVID. I have no reason to believe I have COVID. I don't wear a mask. I have my reasons for not wearing a mask. Um, Anybody who tells you that it prevents the spread is full of it because you can still get it even if you wear a mask. It's better just to try to live your life as you normally would. So no mask, don't go to outside. We're in America, okay? We have a constitution. I have a right to go outside. I have a right to do what I want here, Minecraft boy. So, um, it's okay. Corona will be in. Okay, so anyways, guys, so we're past the 2 hour mark. So, are you guys ready for this day in each history? Because I think I'm about ready to wrap it up here. So are you guys ready for this day in each history? Entire public store, Florida, that said their employees don't have to wear masks. Some customers were upset. Laugh out loud. Yeah. Well, again, not everybody is going to wear a mask. Neach it up. But anyways, yes. Neach time. Yep. All right. So let me just do a quick review here. 81, 2001, 2011, and 2006. Okay, so yay history is yay history. Okay, so without no further ado, today is um in the states here it's Wednesday, February the 10th, so 2021. So let's take a look back at this day in each history. here in North America. So here we go. So first off, we're going to go back 40 years ago today to 1981. On this date in 1981, 40 years ago today, the 165th issue of Little Archie from Archie Comics went on sale on this date in 1981. So 40 years ago today, the 165th issue of Little Archie from Archie Comics went on sale on this date in 1981. It was 32 pages. Cover price was 50 cents. So you get this comic back then for 2 quarters or a 50-cent piece. So there we go. And as we move on, then we move ahead in time to the next piece of niche history. On this date in the year 2001, which was 20 years ago today, 20 years from our last stop. So 20 years ago today, Eddie Colon, who many of you would probably know better as Primo in WWE's Primo, the younger brother, of course, of Carly Colon. Eddie Colon would defeat Damian Steele for the World Wrestling Council World Junior Heavyweight Championship. World Wrestling Council, of course, was the wrestling promotion is the wrestling promotion in Puerto Rico run by the Colon family, started by Carlos Colon and Victor Jovica back in 1974. So on this date, 20 years ago today, Eddie Colon, who many of you would know better as Primo, WWE's Primo, won the World Wrestling Council Junior Heavyweight title. So as we now move on, of course, to the next piece of niche history here. I'll be right back. Got to go off camera here for a quick sec. Okay, I'm back. So on this date in 2006, which was, of course, 15 years ago today, Satellite Studios released the first part of the Hellsing Hellsing Ultimate OVAs. So the first Hellsing Ultimate OVA was released on this date in 2006, 15 years ago today. So that's what happened there. So on this date, 15 years ago today, the first Hellsing Ultimate OVA was released on this date from Satellite Studios. And finally, last but not least here, on this date 10 years ago today, Danish filmmakers would release the computer animated film, the computer animated adventure film, The Great Bear. So on this date, 10 years ago today in 2011, the Danish computer animated film, The Great Bear, would make its premiere. So Hellsing Ultimate was great. So with that, that's it right there, guys. So I thank everybody for joining me tonight. Had some pretty lively conversations at times which is good. Ran a little long, but that's okay. I look forward to seeing you guys back here tomorrow night. And until then, bye.